Okay, wet styling. So a roller set is pretty old school. We don't do this a lot anymore, but I mean, oddly enough, I did actually get a call last week, I think, for a roller set, and I was like, no. So, but it is still extremely good to know because you want to learn how to control your subsections. You want good tension. We want clean lines, all of that stuff. So it's still very good for building dexterity, okay? Again, your roller size needs to make sure that whatever length of hair you're using, that it can actually wrap around that roller at least 2 times. So there's 1, 2, and then I'm getting it on its face. So these are about right for this, what I have here. So 3 different sizes. So when I'm doing my base for this, it still has to match the diameter and the length of my roller. Okay. You want to shampoo the hair, you want to get it wet. Okay. I want you to do this in 5 sections. So across the top, it needs to be your 5th section, and it needs to be just that, just as wide as your roller. Okay. And probably, you know, it's going to end about here. Okay. So we're going to do the top in the center of the head. Everything else is going to be horizontal all the way around. We're going to use that like a bricklay pattern where we're never going to just stack them one on top of the other. We're always going to offset them. So the subsectioning and controlling and tension on the hair, all of this is super important. And no matter what we're doing, whether we're going to cut hair, we have to have subsections. They have to be clean lines. We have to have tension on the hair. We can't leave any hair out, all of that. So all of these things are really important to learn and develop your skills. And then from there, you know, you move on to highlighting, foiling. When I cut hair, I always do 5 sections. So I have the front and back, the right and the left sides, and my 5th section. So, you know, you're learning a lot more than you think. So don't get bored with just rolling hair, okay? All I'm going to do is go ahead and isolate the front and back. So that's just straight down right behind the ear. And I'm just pulling this all out of the way so I can start in the back. I am going to use a setting spray or a setting lotion, I should say. You can get this at Sally's if you're at home and you don't have anything. I think you could probably do it with just a little bit of gel also. I just personally like setting spray. Okay, and we're going to go back to discussing our base placement. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate base placement here where everybody can see it. I like to do it sideways so you can really see the base and where that roller is going to land. But when I create my base, okay, here's my roller. So it's going to be this long. The length is going to be from here to here. I'm not going to get wider with it. So I'm just using my rat tail comb and I'm creating that rectangular base that matches my roller. Okay, so if I just set this right on top of here, then you should clearly be able to see a rectangle. Okay. Okay. Now, so base placement. So we talked a little bit about last week. I have on base, half off, and off base, correct? So if I pull this hair down on its base and I'm pulling it towards me and I roll this rod or roller, whether I'm round brushing, whether I'm thermal curling, whether I'm flat ironing, I'm pulling this base down, correct? And it sits off of my base. It's not sitting on the base at all, okay? So this is going to give me very little volume. You can see the hair that I'm working on is this section and it's pulling it flat, right? So this is an off base placement, okay? If I want a little volume, then I take it straight up from its base. Comb all that hair nice and straight, have tension on it, okay? And then wrap my roller. You're gonna always roll one hand and then the other. Left, right, left, right. Okay. Now you can see that it's sitting directly on its base, right? Or half off. When I push this away from me, okay, and I'm really getting volume out of this base here because I'm pushing that hair way over, right? So when I roll this down, it's going to be directly on the base, and you can see that base is pulled straight up, so I'm going to have tons of volume here. So in this fifth section, they all need to be on base, okay? Maybe as we go around the midsection, you could do them half off. In the nape area, you could do them off base, okay? So it's not as important down here to have volume as it is right here and in your top fifth section, okay? Okay, so I'm all done. You can see I did these on the top going horizontally straight across my fifth section. I bricklayed them all. I can't see hardly any of my clips. My clips are underneath my rollers on the base. I offset them so they're bricklayed. I did them all on base so I have a lot of volume. Hi. All right, I'm gonna dry it, take it out so you can see it in a little bit. Okay, next we're gonna talk about clips. Okay, there's several different kinds that we have. We have these that are hideaway, so you can see that the roller is gonna go right in, and this is gonna be flat all the way on the roller, okay? These are the ones I want you to use if possible. We also have a single prong clip, which is just a little bitty tiny clip, and it's just one little prong. This one, of course, is not going to go all the way into your roller, okay? So it's gonna be, this is gonna always stick out, so you're gonna have to deal with that, okay? These are mainly for pin curls or barrel curls. It's not really for roller sets. And then we have our double prong clip that's the same as our single. It won't go flush against the edge of our roller. So we really want to use these hideaway if we possibly can, okay? All right, so we're gonna start in the nape area in the back. I'm gonna have a clean horizontal line. Okay, and I can safely get 2 here, but I'm gonna be pulling just slightly on these edges. So I could use one of these and 2 of the shorter ones. It's really up to you, okay? You don't want to just get too much hair on one roller, just like our thermal curl, because then it'll just be a wave. It's not going to be a tight, uniform curl, okay? All right, so what I always do is I decide on my section, my subsection. And there's my little rectangle. I'm going to pull it, comb it up from its base a little bit so I can see that all that hair is nice and straight and neat. I'm not going to bunch up or wad up any hair in here. It's going to be nice and straight and pretty, okay? I'm going to use my setting spray, which is half water and half setting lotion, and I'm just going to spray it a little. When this dries, it's going to set those curls and it's going to be really pretty. All right, I'm going to get a clip and a roller and I'm just rolling it up. That's it. These are pretty easy to do as long as you have tension on that hair, okay? And it's even, so we want to pull it even out from its base. So I'm not going to over direct it and pull it this way. I need to pull it out straight from its base. Okay, and I'm going to roll in my left and then my right and then my left and then my right. So I'm not just using one hand to constantly roll with my right hand, because then my curl is going to be uneven. So I go left, right, left, right, okay? The other thing I do is I use this clip on the scalp, not up here, okay? When I clip this, I am touching that scalp and I'm clipping it to its base. So don't clip up here on top or down here. I don't want to see any of those clips. They should be under your roller, okay? I hear wet shoes in the hallway. Like I said, you don't have to use a setting lotion, but if I was doing this professionally, I definitely would. They're wet, and like I said, this once the hair's wet, it pretty much just sticks right to this. Now as I move up, I'm going to offset these. I'm not going to do two more right on top of each other, because that's going to create a huge indentation there that hair is going to split, and when it dries, and you're never going to be able to comb it out. So I'm going to bricklay my next row. And I'm going to do 3 rollers here. So I'm going to start in the center. One roller here. Here. Definitely getting all of this hair from the base, so I'm not bunching up the hair underneath my roller, okay? Left, right, left, right. And when you finish this, I want you to let it dry. Do your whole head and let it dry, and then we're gonna brush it out loosely and just see what kind of old school hairstyle you can come up with. So it used to be little ladies would go, they would get a perm, and then they would get their hair set once a week. And this is when you would see them, you see them in old movies sitting under the dryer with a bunch of rollers on their head. This is what they're doing. And they're letting that set, then they comb it out, hairspray the hell out of it, and they wear it like that all week. Used to be. had a weekly appointment at the beauty parlor to get a shampoo set. All right, so you can see I have even tension all the way across my roller, so it's nice and neat. There's no hairs anywhere that are loose. You can clearly see that I bricklayed. I can see lines, rectangles. My base is very clear. Okay, what happens when we don't pull up from that base is that the base where you're gonna comb it all out gets all matted down and ugly. You really always got to consider your base. What's happening there in zone 1 is super important, because we're either round brushing it to get it volume, we're going to flat iron it, we're going to curl it with a curling iron. No matter what, we're always considering how we're pulling on that base. Okay? Okay, I want you to do a full set of these. I would just continue to go up and bricklay them, and then I'm going to wind around to the sides, do all of this section. And then up here, I'm just going to go straight across and do as many as I can, just straight across this way, all across the top. Okay? Okay.